This is the virtual riders meeting for those who missed the in-person riders meeting. Evolve GT brings a new motorcycle track day experience for sport bike riders. Based in Virginia and hosting events at tracks all over the eastern US, our team has redesigned track days for motorcycles to give you the best experience in a safe environment. Our certified and experienced staff of professionals is ready to share their knowledge with riders of all skill levels. Our instructors and coaches know the ins and outs of racetrack riding and the best way to communicate them to you. All our coaches strive to give every student the instruction that best suits their needs. What does Evolve GT stand for? Evolve, grow, and transform. Who are we? Bill Sink, Mark Leinhard, Gabe Picard, Brett Baker, and the coaches who are not control riders. That means you do not need a wave by to pass a coach. There are many track day providers. What makes us different? Our coaches. If you are struggling or need feedback, find a coach in the paddock. One of the requirements for coaches is that they all bring a spare chair so that you can talk to them under conditions that you can actually hear and understand instead of on the track where things are loud and you have your helmets on. But don't wait until Monday morning to blast us on social media. We cannot help you after the fact. Let us know if you aren't having a great day so we can turn that around. Find a coach. Go to tech. Talk to someone that works for Evolve so that we can hook you up with the right person. The event schedule for a usual day, 7 to 8 is when tech is open. At 8 o'clock, tech closes for the 8:15 riders meeting, which you missed. Starting at 9, rotations are as follows. On the hour to 20 after is our advanced group, E3, E4. 20 to 40 is E2. 40 to the hour is E1 and GT1. Lunch breaks will be from 12 to 1 or 1 to 2, depending on the track. Please see the administrator who will give you your stickers for confirmation of lunch. E3 and E4, the advanced group, again, is a 20-minute session on the top of the hour. E2, intermediate, another 20-minute session, 20 after the hour. And E1, GT1 is novice, which with a 20-minute session and 40 after the hour. There will not be announcements if there is a red flag or some type of cleanup. Please go by the hour. Don't listen for the announcements. On days when there are other events, such as Moto Gladiator, training, or Moto Girl events, you will need to go to the Facebook group, Evolve GT forum page, and see the live schedule. You can scan that QR code with a different phone, or just go to Facebook. The track is hot at 9. On some tracks, it may be 8:30. Please see the tech admin. But if you have missed the rider meeting, your first session will be at the 10 o'clock rotation. Lunch is usually at 12. Again, see the tech attendant. And the track is cold at 5. On days that there may be races, the track may extend the time that it is hot. The first session of E2 will have a standing yellow for 2 laps. The first session of E1 will have a standing yellow until it is safe to discontinue the standing yellow. That means until everybody has gotten out, including the GT1 riders. So it's a minimum of 2 laps and maybe 4 or 5. Watch the corner workers until you do not see a yellow flag for 2 corner worker stations. That first session is a great time to look for all the corner workers and especially for where the checkered flag will be flown. The passing rules. E4 is restricted to Moto America and Expert CCS and Wera racers. This group has very little supervision. Coaches and instructors may or may not wear their green safety vests, but will be on track and will be present to spot unsafe riding. Controlled and considerate passing is allowed anywhere. E3 is the advanced group. It has less supervision and passing restrictions. Riders at this level will be qualified by ability, smoothness, and consistency. Passing is permitted inside and outside anywhere with a 3-foot rule. Coaches will be rotating with you, looking for consistency in the group and unsafe riding. Coach assistance is available on request. E2 is our intermediate group. It requires slightly more pace than E1 and better race lines than E1, but it is still structured with no inside passing allowed in corner entry. That means turn into the apex. Passing is permitted on the straight and turn exits. That means after the apex. We ask that a 5-foot passing rule is adhered to. The first rotation for the day will be led by coaches for 2 laps under a standing yellow flag with no passing. Subsequent rotations throughout the day, you will be on your own with supervision from coaches who will be riding the session, assisting anyone who needs or requests help. E1 is comparable to a novice group. It is very structured with no inside passing allowed in corner entry. That means the turn into the apex. Passing is permitted on the straight and turn exits. That means after the apex. We ask that you adhere to the 5-foot rule when passing. The first rotation for the day will be led by coaches for 2 or more laps under a standing yellow flag with no passing allowed at all. All subsequent rotations throughout the day, you can ride freely with supervision from coaches who will be riding the session, assisting anyone who requests or needs help. GT1 are our new riders. It is their first day at the track. If you want the sport to grow with more track days and more track choices, these are the people you should be courteous to so that they come back and bring their friends. Please give those that are wearing pennies more room. Be more considerate when you're passing them. They may spook. They are unfamiliar. They're in a new environment. Think of your first track day. So please be considerate to any of those people that are wearing a penny. What are the passing rules for E4? What are the passing rules for E3? What are the passing rules for E2? What are the passing rules for E1? How should you pass GT1 students? What is an inside pass? An inside pass is when you come between a person and the apex after they have started leaning or turning. So that means if the person with the red line was minding their own business and the person with the yellow came in and chopped their line off, came between them and the apex after the entry cone. You should never be between a person and the apex cone once they have started turning in, even if they turn in a century early. Please don't claim that you are committed to a pass. You have brakes on your motorcycle. Use them. There is no reason to perform an inside pass in a group that inside passing is not allowed. What is an inside pass? Pass after the apex on the inside. It is the safest pass you can make. The person you are passing is moving away from you. So you set the person up by turning in later and rolling on the throttle after the apex on their inside. You'll never get pushed on the track, off the track with this type of pass. It requires a little thinking and a little preparation, but it is one of the safest passes. Never pass someone and then immediately cut in front of them to try to get on race line. Take the turn where you pass them on the racetrack. For example, you see this yellow line, they passed someone and then they moved over. That's extremely dangerous, especially if the person that they're passing is on a smaller bike. They might not need to brake as much as someone with a larger bike. And you now are right in front of them and slamming on your brakes. So if you are planning on passing someone, you would take this corner from the line where you started. Don't hop back on race line. When you pass someone, what should you avoid doing? What about the bump? Everyone wants to get bumped. How does it happen? The best way is to ride well and responsibly, following the group rules. The coaches are watching. If you don't think this is true, ask a few riders in the group above you. At least 25% of the bumps are identified by the coach without the rider asking for a bump. What if you think you're ready, but a coach has not said anything to you? How do you ask for an eval? Don't wait until you are on grid to ask for a bump or an eval. Find a coach in the paddock and arrange to meet them somewhere in the paddock. Okay, what are the coaches looking for on this eval for a bump? When you go from E1 to E2, you're looking to get bumped from E1 to E2. The coaches are looking for good, consistent lines, that you're on race line all the time, and considerate passing. Pace is really at the bottom of the list. Situational awareness, adherence to pit in and pit out procedures, passing etiquette all come into play before pace. Consistency is one of the biggest things for that bump to E1, from E1 to E2. Moving from E2 to E3 is a two-coach bump. That means one coach will evaluate you, and if they think you are ready, administration will assign a designated coach to give final approval. Pace is important in this progression, but motorcycle control, consistency, and situational awareness are also important. What is not important from the bump from E1 to E2? Bumping down. If you are unfamiliar with the track, it is often beneficial to drop down a level until you become familiar with the track. This is not a permanent demotion. You can even go back into your normal group after lunch if you feel comfortable. Everyone has off days. If a coach asks you to bump down for the day, it is for your safety. It is not a permanent demotion either. Why might it be good to bump down if you are unfamiliar with the track? Day bumps. Sometimes day bumps are done on a trial basis. These stickers will be a different color. You will not be changed in the system, and you will be moved back into your normal group at the next day as you go through tech. Pit out, getting onto the track. Go to the designated area. The track marshal will release you, and you must stay on the blend line. The blend line is where people that are entering the track meet the people that are already on the track. Remember, the rider already on the track has the right of way. The blend line will usually end at the first corner, at which point you are on race line. If you disregard this rule, you may be asked to sit out a session. It is that important. What is the blend line? For NJMP Thunderbolt, when you get onto the track after 2, you will stay all the way to the right until 3A. Riders that are already on the track will be to the left. At the apex of 3A, you are on race line and will continue on race line. Do not cut over to the left to get on race line as you get on the track. This is very dangerous. Where is the blend line at NJMP? Pitting in or coming off the track. Make sure to get your hand up at the designated station. This is usually the station where the checkered flag is flown. Do not chop the throttle before you raise your hand. Make sure to get your hand up or your foot out before you come off the throttle. Once you raise your hand, you must exit the track. You cannot change your mind. Some of the most horrific instances have been when people decide to get off the track at the last minute or change their mind and do not exit the track. Be predictable. Where should you get your hand up to signal you are getting off the track? What should you do if you change your mind about getting off? What is hot pit? While you're on the track, ride the race line at all times. Follow the group passing rules. No stopping or turning around on track. Do not try to help a friend. Do not pass someone and then immediately cut in front of them. Whatever line you pass at, you must take the turn from that line. If you run off the track and stay up, wait for a corner worker to okay your re-entry. Do not ride race line until you've gone 2 to 3 corners, as there may be debris, mud, or grass on your tires. If you fall down and feel okay, stay down. The corner worker will get an ambulance to you. If you feel okay, leave the bike where it is and get over to the tile wall or behind the corner worker station. Give the corner worker a thumbs up. Leave your helmet and gear on. Let me repeat that. Leave your helmet and gear on, or the session will have to be flagged. Do not put your bike on the kickstand. It is safer laying down. Do not stand by your bike looking at the damage. The session will be red flagged. Do not put your bike on the kickstand and then look at the damage. If you start feeling ill after the adrenaline wears off, drop to your knee and the corner worker will flag the session and get an ambulance to you. The most important thing is to leave your gear on, leave the bike down. It's less of a target for other riders. It's safer for the bike, and get to the tire wall. When the ambulance needs to pick someone up, time is of the essence. If the session is red flagged, go at a pace that you can avoid anything that is on the track in front of you. Do not slow down to a crawl, as this prevents the ambulance from getting to the injured rider. Also, do not pass under a red flag. There may be debris on the track, and a pass could be dangerous. What should you do if you fall down? What should you do if you fall down and feel well? What should you do if you fall down and then realize you do not feel well or aren't okay? What should you not do if someone puts their kickstand up and causes the session to be red flagged? It's important to know the flags. Know where the corner worker stations are. Know where the flags will be displayed. Pay attention during the first session and know what all the flags mean. The checkered flag means the end of the session and you should pit in. A standing yellow flag is caution. It means no passing. A waving yellow flag means there's an incident coming up. A red flag means danger, end of the session. Pit in as fast as is safe. A waving yellow and red flag means the incident that caused the red flag is in the next couple corners. A black flag pointed at you means you are leaking fluid. This is the only time you should ever stop your motorcycle while you're riding on the track. You want to get off the track if possible so that you do not leak any fluids on the track. Don't confuse that with the meatball flag, which is a black flag with an orange circle in the middle. This means to pit in and see the track marshal. It does not mean to pit in and go to tech. Tech is unaware of why the track marshal wants to see you. What does the yellow flag mean? What does a waving yellow flag mean? What does the red flag mean? What does the yellow and red flag crossed mean? What does the black flag mean? What does the meatball flag mean? What does the checkered flag mean? You can hit submit and show your completed Edpuzzle to the tech administrator.